In our part of the world, we have a saying that goes like this: white people have watches, Africans have time. No matter who wears the watches, time is something that all of us try to save, to manage. Sometimes we lose it. Sometimes we're trying to search for more time. But no matter where we are in the world, we have to recognize only God Himself controls time. And there's a time and season for everything under heaven. And here in Rwanda today, it's the season and the time to sow the seed that will bring forth those people who are going to know Christ for eternity.
We're well along in our other projects. We have already basically completed the church. We're already well along in the Wellspring Academy. We're moving into the building phase now of our health and wellness center. So that's very, very exciting.
As you hear the children every morning with the loud cheering and rejoicing, you think, is this the Rwanda of the past? Thank God it's the new Rwanda. It's the Rwanda of today. And there where we hear the gospel of Jesus being shared with those young children who will make a difference for the future and who will help to cast dreams and visions that will be life-sustaining in the future of this country. With the nation being such a very young one at this point in time, we need to invest in those who have not had opportunity to go to school properly and who are, let's say, 18, 19, 20 years old and taking care of a family. Many of these children are going to be from child-headed households. Many of them are coming from families that have been decimated now by AIDS or all the rest of it. A lot of them have just come from poor families. They'll come from the rural and all. We are in the process of beginning what is going to be called the Intango Skills Training School. This school will be one that will help those who could not get an education properly and now need to have a practical skill to support their families. They've never had the chance of going to a proper school, and yet many of them are so bright. I've seen them, I've watched them over the years. We have some of our own skilled workers that we have right now that we have trained over the last 10 years in our building trade, and I've got some of the finest builders, but that's only 10 of them. And I believe that we can produce hundreds of them, and eventually, should Jesus tarry, thousands of young people that will be totally productive in a skill, adding to the value of the country, adding to the value of their own life and their own family. I'm standing here right now on the very ground on this 17 acres of land. It doesn't look like we're in the center of the city. It doesn't look like it's much right here. You got to have a lot of faith to believe it. But I'm standing here right now about where the administration block of the Intango Skills Training Centre should be built. We in the West have been so privileged and trained with so many trades and skills, and over here just people just have to pick it up any way that they learn. They see somebody using a hammer, they pick up a hammer and think that they're a carpenter. They see somebody with a pliers, they call themselves a plumber. Only 40% of Rwanda's children end up going to high school, and only 1% of the 40% are able to go to university. So there's a huge hole. That means 60% of the children do not get more than a primary education. I know it takes a lot of faith and vision to believe that out of this place where I'm standing right now that we can actually build a school, develop some property here, but we've got a school with dormitories for boys, dormitories for girls, classrooms, blocks, workshops, a dining hall, gathering center where we're going to have computers and all the rest of it. And so our goal is to reach those young people that have probably got a grade 6 education or less, train them in a skill. But not only that, the reason why we're having the dormitories and all is that we can disciple them. We want them to live right on site so that we can teach them the principles of Christ, the principles of good hygiene and health management, and just be able to pour into them for a year or two, these young people, so that they can come out being productive citizens. As with Esther, there is a time for all of us to be in the right place, the right time, as God sees fit. So you and I, as we work together in building the kingdom of God across the world, we have the opportunity to help
in every way possible, through your prayers, through your gifts, through your giving.
I know that's over $2.1 million to raise, but what's that to God? You say, well, Elmer, are you asleep, or do you know that we're in a recession? God's not in a recession. I don't believe that for one single minute. He said in His Word that the vision is for an appointed time. Though it tarry, it will come, and I believe it will come. I don't know how. I can't make it happen, but God can. God's passion is for these people. God's passion is for Rwanda. Rwanda has seen the worst of the terror, the worst of the world's neglect. But I believe that He's raising this nation up as a new nation, as a new generation. I believe that this nation is going to be a picture of God's restoration. You talk about end-time things that God will do. I believe that Rwanda is going to fit into the picture of end-time building, end-time kingdom things that are happening. There's no doubt about it. This is the time, this is the place, and this is the vision that God has for an appointed time. So I trust that you'll be able to join us. I trust that you'll be able to partner along. If you don't believe me, come and stand in this jungle with me. Come and dream together. Let's believe God for the transformation of a nation.